struggle to get it out. I'll break it.
Me too.
Yeah.
There we go.
Right, I'll get back to you. I don't want
You want to wait first?
you can have it if you want.
So let's open this up to everyone in the audience first of all. So does anyone have any questions about any of the films that they've just seen? One in the back. Great. Say that again for us.
I have a question about the first film.
Yeah.
The look at the mood. Yeah, I can't really see. Just a question to the director or producer, whoever was involved with the writing of it.
The assistant director's actually coming later on. We're going to delay the Q&A for the first film. I know it's a bit jarring, but we're going to delay them to the second Q&A when they arrive. So you will have an opportunity to answer that have that question answered.
Only question.
Let's introduce who we've got on the little panel. So if you go across, who do we have?
Oh, what's my name? Emily Hall.
And you were the...
I was Jo in Room for an X, or No Room for an X. Okay.
I'm Danny Shepherd. I played Amy in No Room for an X.
I'm David Griffin and I played Adrian in See Me Now.
I'm Alexander Clark and I played Oscar in No Room for an X.
I'm Isaac Haley and I played Leo in No Room for an X.
So ask about that.
And I'm Alison Sauer and I did art on No Room for an X.
So you've got no You're doing well here. Yeah. So first off, does anyone have any questions from the audience? Yeah.
I'd like to know where the inspiration came from for See Me Now. From a writer's perspective, is it a fantasy or?
So, unfortunately, I don't know if I can answer that question because I didn't write it. So yeah, sorry. You've just got an actor, I'm afraid.
I'll just jump in here for a second. The writer-director of Look at the Moon, See Me Now, Elliot Again, unfortunately can't be here tonight. He's currently down in London. He's got a couple of exams for university and stuff, so he can't be down here to obviously, answer questions about it. But in terms of, I'll basically answer the second question. In terms of with See Me Now, Elliot really approached me about a sort of thriller, but with a sort of twist on it. So originally we were envisioning maybe that Emma Wise's character Christine was sort of like a stalker hunter. So she had a list of different people and she was just going down them and kind of making them fear what it's like, obviously, to be at the receiving end. But that eventually took it into a much more psychological take, obviously with the final product being a fantasy of her own imagination, and eventually going over into the ending where he actually does appear. So to answer your question, it really started as a sort of like a horror thriller piece with someone basically wanting to track down all stalkers and have a list of everyone going one by one. But eventually Elliot decided to take a more psychological kind of route. We do actually have a couple of crew members, I believe, as well. If you did work and See Me Now, can you just raise your hand? Yeah, there we go.
Where are you? Why are you not there?
Any more questions from anyone in the audience? Don't be shy.
They're not scary people, trust me.
Hello. Right, so between No Room for an X and See Me Now, I couldn't help but notice there being a similarity with the knife. So I was wondering if we've got an extended cinematic universe going on.
I'll answer that one.
You can answer it, yeah.
Because the knife belongs to me. It's not between those two, but there is the knife from Room for an X does appear in Drop Point, so there you go.
I would like to ask a question. We've got quite a lot of actors up, so I wanted to know what your sort of method is when you get into a film. So what's your process? So do you take a script? How do you go about processing the script?
Oh yeah.
What's your method?
That's in the book there.
Something to let you all answer it, that's alright.
I'll listen to you after that.
Oh, that's a good first.
Well, for me, I'm a method actor. Actually, it's Emily. Just because I had to say it. So for me, personally, I like to do a lot of script analysis and a lot of character building. For Oscar,
weirdly enough, I've had a lot of crazy exes. Nothing as weird as that, but I was able to draw little bits from each and bring them to life. Emily, what about you?
Oh, thanks. Okay. Well, I've never been locked up in a storage unit, so I don't have any personal experiences.
Can I just say something about that?
Yeah.
I'm really, really sorry. It was hours and hours and hours.
Okay. You looked after me really well. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a method actor as well, so I do a lot of script analysis and going out in public as a character if I can. But I mean, you can't really go out strapped to a chair. So it's mainly script analysis. Like, yeah, you can try, but that's mainly what I do.
Yeah.
Don't know how to go into that anymore. So, Danny, over to you.
I do mainly drama and more serious films and like theatre and stuff, so it was kind of just nice to do some comedy last year, really. I kind of had like a lot of comedy, and I've never really actually been a comedy actress before, so it was kind of good to look into it and do quite a lot of work in that department. But yeah, I've never actually locked anyone up, may I just say that. I'm not that insane in real life. Well, yeah, that's good. Good luck, Jack, sorry. But Amy was really fun. She was very, very different to me. She's just a bit...
She's not really.
She is. I mean, I can't see myself doing anything remotely like she did, but okay. It was just really great fun to work with new people, great cast, great crew, and yeah, it was a really exciting project for me. So, but I do a lot of. I've done method before, but it's nice to do something different. So yeah.
Is there from gents?
I don't know. I've not gone to a drama school, not done any sort of classical training in that regard. I've just been working a long time in the industry, and I again mainly come from theatre. So coming to screen, this is my first go at doing screen work, and I think one of the things I was very fearful of was just coming across as way too big, because in an auditorium you've got to make everything twice the size. And then the camera's on you, and if you start screaming down at the camera, it can often come across as a bit too big. So I kind of just, I'm used to kind of playing a scene through and feeling it as it goes along. And so that was another challenge coming to the screen for me, was that you don't get that continuous story when you're filming. You have to stop and start and work out the continuity of your character. And so there's a lot of challenges for that. But yeah, I tend to kind of do my research and get to know a character as well as I can. Weirdly enough, I know a lot about stalking now. It's not a great thing to pronounce in front of everyone. But yeah, so I do a lot of research, and I think that can help you with building the character up. And also, I always practice at home a bit of improv with the character. So I'll be going through the script, and I might try and continue the conversation where it stops in the script, or I might introduce it much earlier on. And I just play around with it as much as I can, so when I get on set, I can hopefully deliver what I need to deliver. But yeah, you can be the judge on that. I'll pass it on.
Are you of the attitude that every character you create, there's always a little bit of you in it?
Not in this case. No. Whilst I don't stalk people, you always need to find a sympathetic angle to a character. It doesn't matter if they're trying to take over the world and blowing up the world. You've got to find the reason why. And if that reason, it was that they got bullied as a kid, then fair enough. But you do need to find that kind of channel to where they've got to that point. And with Adrian, I think it's an interesting fear that I think we all have, is that we put up information out there and you have no idea who's looking at it. I've had a couple of weirdos add me on Facebook from seeing me at the Royal Armouries where I work, and you worry, like how exposed you are to that. So coming into it from that point of view was, coming from the other side of it, I suppose, being the stalker was a bit strange. But I think we've all experienced jealousy, we've all experienced desire, and yeah, there's a certain element of that in there with that character. I think that made sense. It might not have. But yeah, absolutely, there's got to be truth to it. There's got to be truth to it. And clearly this chap went through some sort of trauma at some point, and that was kind of the process it came from. Otherwise, you kind of just end up doing a panto, really, don't you? Yeah.
I think for me, it's quite similar to everyone else. I'm mainly from a theatre background, so This is my first short film that I've done, so it was quite a challenge, like going from obviously being on a stage and performing big, like I'm used to performing like big and out there characters, and you had to like turning it down for a camera was it was quite a challenge, but I managed to do it, I think. Hopefully. Anyway.
I thought your comedy came across really, really well.
Thank you.
It's great bit of acting.
No, thank you. And Leo is, I would say, he's quite a similar character to how I am as a person. Is like the friend who's always there, who's always there for like advice and stuff. So it made it easier for me to relate to that character. Yeah.
I've got a double-barrel question on this one, staying with the actors. So there were two different actors between the two films and stuff you're here for. So were there any conflicts or attractions between working with the directors, and on the back of that, were there any challenges on set when you're filming, or challenges with your characters, or challenges with each other whilst filming?
I don't know, what would you say? I mean, I've never actually, before this, I hadn't worked with, to be fair, I haven't worked with you, have I?
No.
And I hadn't worked with either of you two. It's always good to work with new people, because you learn what works and what doesn't. For me, working on No Room for an X, I come from, very similar to all these guys, have a theatrical background, but I do play a lot of more scary and aggressive and, to be honest, toxic characters. So it was very nice to sort of mess around a little bit, and working with people like Danny. It was. I think when we were doing our scenes, it was just so hard not to laugh. It was so hard not to. It was a lot of laughing, because I don't know. For that particular, some of those scenes, it was just.
Yeah.
You killed me. Half the time. But no, it is always nice to work with people, and I've been lucky enough to work with some great people on this shoot. I've worked with the likes of Sam Flanagan before. He's speaking again, and it was a pleasure to work with people like Sam Flanagan and the cast and crew. It was just, I couldn't wish for a better set of people, to be fair, if I'm honest.
Also, if I like it, what the rest of you?
Yeah, like I said, like this was my first short film, and working with everyone made me feel like really, like calm, really easy. So I was nervous coming into it, but once we got going, it everyone was like helping me feel calm, making me feel really comfortable, and like giving me advice and like tips to like improve what I was doing really. And it was just really nice to work with everyone. It was a really nice environment to work in.
Absolutely, please.
Okay, I've worked on a couple of big budget things, feature films and things like that, and I have to say in a lot of ways I prefer working on these passion projects, because the cast and the crew are much closer together. On a bigger production or a TV series or whatever, you end up with a massive separation between cast and crew, and you're not producing something together. And the artistic endeavour should be something that you're producing as a team. And I find very much that these smaller productions, you are working as a team, you're all doing little bits and pieces. You know, the cast might do a bit of crewing at some point, the crew might end up as extras, all sorts of things, in and out and weaving in and out, just to produce a product. And at the end of one of these small productions, you do feel like a little family, and it's a real joy to come and see the end product. Okay.
Staying on you for now, I'd like to ask some other questions. What is your process of, you get a script, you've been asked to work in it, you've had to be the production designer, for instance. What is your process of taking that script, digesting it down, and working on it?
Okay, well, it varies massively depending on what type of film it is. One I did recently that's not been finished yet, called A Mother's Love, was one that we had to put in a historical context, so it had to be 1978, so there was a hell of a lot of preparation for that. Trying to make sure that I produced a scene that was reminiscent of 1978. So in that one, that would have required a massive timeline and a lot of thought and a lot of research about it. In other ones, it's just about getting inside the story. It's about reading the script again and again, getting inside the story. Sometimes going to a table read, which is something you don't get on a bigger production, you don't get to do as crew quite often. Whereas if you go to a table read, like we did with Drop Point that's coming up, you can really get into that and you can really go for it, and then you're in there as part of the team, and it's much more seamless and you can get in there. But it is about just getting hold of the characters and stuff. And Sam and I talk a lot, don't we?
We do.
Before productions,
Yeah.
we talk an awful lot. And if I've got any tiny questions, it'd be really stupid stuff sometimes, but and it works. It works. It's all about communication, really.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything you'd like to say about the works or about yourselves? I'd love to hear about what you've got coming up.
We have got a question there.
Absolutely.
Just from an art department, how do you kind of manage communicating with the director what their vision is, but also like what you would perceive to work for the story?
Again, that's down to personalities, and directors come in many, many, many different shapes and sizes. So some directors are harder to work with than others. I certainly find Sam really easy to work with, but that's because we've got a good rapport going, we've got a good communication going. But sometimes it's difficult. If a director's very distant and doesn't communicate with you, you are kind of left at sea. You have to do a lot of guesswork, and that can be really, really difficult. So it is about creating that communication and having that communication going all the time, creating that rapport and trying to get some pre-production meetings. My God, pre-production meetings are so important, so important.
Lovely. Anything else you'd like to say?
I'll push one. Going into No Room for an X with you, Sam, editing. Obviously, there's sort of like 3 different variations of comedy. One when it's wrote down, one where it's actually being filmed and you actually see that story come to life, and then the last one in the edit room. So comedy really, really does come down to that final crux with the editing. So how do you gauge whether you think that the timing works, that the jokes are going to strike? Because thankfully we found out today they did work.
Oh God, now you're asking. That's a really difficult question. I mean, comedy is subjective after all, isn't it? So I mean, like, everyone has their own particular taste. I mean, dark humour, slapstick, etc. Everyone obviously knows what they like. It's the timings that really, really have to be on point, and I feel like it's not just from an editing point of view, but it's also from an acting point of view as well. Obviously, you guys would know when we're on the set, everything needed to be like on point, timing needed to be everything. Directing point of view, we had Richard Bruce, who is he here? No, I don't think so. Yeah, but he basically had to report, obviously, go back and forth with you guys constantly about like the timings and everything. It's from a director point of view as well. It's all really about like what you want, and it's the actor's job obviously to make sure that what the director wants actually translates onto screen. So all 3 of these main things come into fruition during the final edit, but timings is the biggest thing. And sometimes if you do have 2 different bits of comedy running together, it's really hit and miss. So sometimes it can work, sometimes it can't work. It's really a gamble. You're never really going to know if you're going to get a room full of laughs, which thank God we did. I was nervous. But you never know if you're just going to get a single person laughing. So I don't particularly know how to answer the question, but I think timings really is the biggest thing from all 3 different fields of work: directing, editing, and of course acting as well.
So I guess that's a personal choice sort of thing.
Sort of, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah. I'm very vague in my descriptions. So.
Brilliant.
Yep. Okay, so my question is, do you cut anything out or do you make any extra scenes? I also have an additional question of when do you decide that you film the scene enough times and go like, yes, I've got it?
Trust me, Hannah's to ask you that one.
Tell you what, 1 second, I'm just going to come sit here right here. Right, that is a very, very hard question as well, because editing, you can literally go on for years editing the exact same scene over and over and over again. You just have to say to yourself, you need to stop. You really just have to just say, that's enough. I think it's fine. You can, like I said, you can edit the same thing over and over again constantly. and you're never going to get it the way that you want. You're never ever going to get that. But if you can just be content with yourself and say, that's all right, or that's good, which is what I pretty much did for that, which I think I did all right on, from an amateur editor point of view. It's really just up to you, really, with your own perspective. And after a while, once you have everything, once you think that it's smooth enough from start to finish, that's when I would cut it off. If there's just one thing that you're really, really not so sure about, it's going to be a huge detriment for audience perspectives. Obviously, with that one, tirelessly, and with also the other ones as well, I did also edit Drop Point as well, which is coming up. So let me know how you think about that. But in terms of like when to stop, it's really just down to like your own judgment.
Just as additional to that, when on the actual physical filming, you decide that you have enough variations of scene or have the perfect scene that you wanted.
It's really just down to like how well it flows. If it flows from start to finish seamlessly, you've done it great. But
when does that happen?
very rarely, I'll be honest with you. The first cut's never the greatest one, obviously. There are a lot of things that you're just going to be there like, I really hate that. But then after a while, once you go over it 157 times, you think to yourself, okay, that's the point. And obviously, there are stuff that we did actually cut a couple of things in No Room for an X. We cut a whole scene out of it, which didn't really like bring anything to the story. And that's also another thing as well. If there's nothing, I don't remember who actually quoted it, but there's a saying: if it doesn't flow the story, if it doesn't allow the story to flow, then there's no point having it in. You just remove it straight away, even if you feel like it might be like an important character piece or something like that. If it doesn't fit well with what's happening before and after, get rid of it.
I'm going to follow on from that, if that's all right. Both of you. Physically on set, when do you think you've got enough? Is that after the first take? Is that after the 10th take? Is it after a good performance? Or you've got the right performances? That's more what you're after, isn't it? Yeah.
It's from a director's point of view, really. The director says, that's enough, we can move on to the next one. Myself personally, I always like to get an additional 2, maybe 3 takes in, just for safety. If anyone's ever heard that. It works, trust me, it really does work. But it really is, that's really down to the director to say, we've got it, let's move on. If you think you got it in 1 take, great, move on. But if you feel like it takes around about 10 takes to get that final thing that you're looking for, then do 10 takes.
So on the editing point of view, I happen to know that there have been some issues with a couple of these films. This one, we had the stone tumbler in the background. So I was listening out for it actually, because there's just down the road, round the corner from the containers, there was a stone preparation place, and they had one of these big, like, you're just having nightmares still, aren't you? And it just, every time it just started up again and again and again, and they were just rolling it. I went down and told them to shut up at one point. It was horrific. It was really bad, wasn't it? It really was. And then on Drop Point, dare I say it?
No, don't say it.
2 things, teenage kids and geese, of all things. So in the background just honking every now and again, so fun.
That was cut because of that.
The first rule of filmmaking is when you get onto a set, admit that there will be something that goes wrong, because 10 times out of 10 it happens. And it's your job as a director, from my point of view, it's obviously my job to resolve it, find some form of resolution for it, and then once we've found some form of resolution, move on and just deal with it. If it doesn't resolve itself, which in that case it didn't, we couldn't really tell them to stop working as much as you would like to. We can't really tell someone to stop working, so.
Just after 10 minutes.
You have to, yeah, well, but at the same time, like, there's always something that goes wrong, and that's the biggest thing that you take away from every single set that you're on. There's always going to be something on the set that is either going to hold you back or stall production. So.
Any more final questions? Got a few, I like this. Yeah, go.
What happens to the films now? By the way, I enjoyed all 3 of them, really held my interest, and well done to you. What happens to the films now?
So, we've got a couple of things.
Should we save that for the end?
Yeah, we do have a couple of things we do want to say. Usually what happens with these kind of films, for people who don't know, is there are film festivals. So you submit your films over for a couple of dollars or whatever, via a website called Film Freeway, and then you get either an award or you get what is called a laurel, which is a ribbon that you can actually put on a poster. In fact, if you look in the top right-hand corner, Look at the Moon, there's an example of one right there. Look at the Moon actually did get selected for the Manchester Student Film Festival, which at the time, that film was actually made within Uni of Leeds. That's where Elliot, Josh, the first AD, and Tom, the DOP, were currently residing at. And they ended up winning, well, they didn't win, they got selected for that festival. That's the kind of thing really that you use these films for, and eventually, if the odd chance, if like a distributor or a sales executive or something like that sees the film and is interested in it, they may very well approach you later on and see if there's like some sort of deal that they can broker with you or something like that, to then take that film and make it into a feature film, which will then get most likely released in cinemas. That's just the general thought.
The laurel is you don't have to actually win anything, or you can
selected. You can either get selected, which means that you've got a chance for the film to actually get shown at the festival, which we do actually have to Falcon, which is going to be the next one that we're going to be showing. That's been in quite a lot of different festivals, so that's got quite a lot of laurels on its poster. Some it's been shown at, some it's just been selected, and with the selection you can then maybe advance onto the next stage, which is an official nomination, and then after that a winner or a finalist or a semi-finalist, something like that.
So it's just a stepping stone basically,
Yeah.
as to how far you'll get. Obviously the further you get, the better it looks for you, reputation and standards basically.
Yeah, you can, especially if you get a lot of critical acclaim as well, if you then approach, say, a sales agent or you wish to make a feature out of that, it gives you more options and more credibility to be able to say, well, no, this is a good product and here's my proof, not from my word but from all these other people. Then you get a bit more of a grasp to take it forward.
Final two questions. Yeah.
With the actors, do you when reading the scripts and stuff, do you prefer to work with a director/writer who's willing to kind of change the writing almost, like to fit whatever you feel the characters best to have, or do you prefer to work with a writer-director that has kind of a vision in their head, what they want the film to be already?
So I think, for personal preference, I like someone who has some flexibility, because I think ultimately the actor is a tool to be used, and if they come with certain ideas, then it's good to listen. And I think if you have an open mind and you can not compromise, but certainly discuss certain aspects, then I think it's certainly worth discussing. Ultimately, in the end of the day, it sits with the writer, it sits with the director. If they want a line and they want it, then you have to give it to them. But I think it's very healthy to have that open discord, and personally I like it, because I think it also helps with delivery as well. So sometimes it can, if it's written in a way that just doesn't sound right to your head, you struggle very hard to get it across.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'm dyslexic. So when it comes to lines, I think it was actually in Room for X, there was actually 2 or 3 lines that just from me reading them and me delivering them just didn't seem to work. So I sort of put my own spin on one of the lines. I think it was one with the Godfather, right? Is that right? The one that you loved. Just because for me it felt natural. So yeah, very similar to you. I also do believe that when it comes to the writing, that I do like a bit more flexibility, but it's not imperative. It's I feel that it works either way. Because I worked on a project where it was very lines to be like this, and actually I'm glad that it was, because it actually did work. And it actually it helped me as well, because I had to adapt my style to then be able to completely rigidly work all the lines the way they are, if that makes complete sense. What about you, Eddie?
Yeah, basically these two have said what I would have said. Although I do think if there is a certain line in the script that is important to the story, you should say it. It's one of them things really, but if it's just a general line that you can't I do struggle with that sometimes, especially in theatre when it's very, like, when you read a script and it's like, oh, I don't like the way that's worded. So you kind of reword it, as long as it's very similar to what the line says, and it doesn't really matter, as long as it kind of links in a way. But yeah, so.
Except Shakespeare. You can't mess with Shakespeare.
Can I get the final question?
Yeah, a bit of a simple one really. Who designed the posters? Because I really like them.
Question. Whoever's got a microphone.
There were a couple of people actually. Look at the Moon. I don't know. That poster was designed long before we acquired that to show at the showcase. See Me Now was made by a very talented guy called Luke Bryan, who also does composing as well if anyone's interested. No Room for an X was done by a lovely lass in Sheffield called Becca Cohen. Both of these are very, very talented people. If you have any poster design or if you've got any composing for Luke, then I really would recommend them, 100%.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for those questions. Big round of applause for the panel. Lovely. So again, I'll throw it to you guys first of all. Have you got any questions about any of the 3 films that we've just seen? No, brilliant. Well, first of all, we should introduce ourselves first of all, that helps. So, from the bottom.
Hi, I'm Sam. I've directed every single one of those films. I've written a fair few of them. I think Written Too Far Gone. Also did additional writing on Bruce Reflections as well. And I also edited Drop Point, a man of many talents.
Hi, I'm Sharon Spink. I starred in Bruce Reflections. I wrote it along with Felton and Sam. Helped produce it. Was makeup artist. Anything else? Credits where credits are, isn't there? I'll take any credits, I'm not bothered. But yeah, that's...
You were the caterer.
Oh yeah, catering, yeah. Anything else? Location?
Yeah.
Fix it out, yeah, everything that Sam didn't do, basically, yeah.
She's like half the work.
Well, this is much shorter compared to that. I'm Mike Gower. I played Jacob in Drop Point. Oh dear.
I'm Lawrence Campling. I played David in Bruce Reflections, and I was also the EP.
I'm Matthew Bentley, and I played Harry in Drop Point.
I'm Sebastian Roberts, and I play Andrew, the brother in Bruce Reflections.
I'm Alison Sauer and I did art on Drop Point and Bruce Reflections.
And I was Lee Preston, I was first in Bruce Reflections.
Hi guys, my name is Cork. I played David Rogers, who played... I kind of forgot my character's name. Ben. Yeah, sorry about that. I actually did that, sorry.
Hi, I'm Josh Healy. I edited Bruce Reflections and Look at the Moon, which you saw. That was one of my movies. I was first AD on that, and I did some special effects.
So, a guy who had a question earlier, he's your man. Redirected to him.
For real. So, any questions? We've also got more variety of people who were on the set this time, so if you've got any questions, feel free. Go for it.
Sharon, what was your thought process when you
Thought process. Sebastian, you were in on this one. Did we have a thought process? I don't think we did.
Well,
it started off as an improvisation in class. That basically I turned up after being at a party having killed my abusive ex-boyfriend, or boyfriend at the time. Sebastian did play my brother in that one. And so that was the thought process behind it, was an improvisation. We then let Velton have a look at it, and he put the twist on that actually it was me who was the perpetrator, and David was the victim.
Elaborate on that, Sebastian?
Anything to add, Sebastian?
no, I think you said it all.
Kind of few words.
Yes.
Any other questions, first of all? Yeah.
So, awkward one again. How come Too Far Gone has, I've got the term for it, the nice things that people wear.
The Laurels.
Is it because it was released quite earlier, or was it for no reason?
So, in relation to Too Far Gone, that's been with us since March 2018, was it? Yeah, it's been with us like around 2018 about... or earlier? Yeah, 2018. It's been like around about for like near enough 2 years now. That has been on the festival circuit for God knows how long. As you can see, it's won quite a lot. It's had quite a lot of laurels. It did get nominated for Best Short Film at the Birmingham Film Festival last year. And it also won 5 awards at the first year of Winter Sun Online, which is an Indian film festival. We had Best Production Design, we had Best Music, we also had Best Story as well, and we also actually won the Best Actor and Actress award as well for this talented gentleman over here to my right. So he's but no, that's been there for like ages. That's coming out of the film festival circuit in a couple of months' time. It's due to end its run, but we've had a pretty good run with it so far. Don't particularly know if anyone's a little bit confused, but X-Light Productions was basically an old production company I was a part of before Amethyst Productions. We technically did make that under X-Light Productions, but since now we have acquired it, and that is now ours, hence why we're showing it at the showcase tonight. But yeah, in relation to Laurels, it's been on the festival circuit for ages, quite frankly.
Any other questions? One question I do want to ask, which you might find out a bit, is what were, obviously you're a producer of all three, what are the budget differentiations between the 3 different films, if you don't mind sharing?
Budget? What budget?
Do we have a budget? I don't like to set budgets. I just like to spend and spend and spend and spend, which is a bad... Don't pick it up, it's bad. In terms of budget differentiation, Too Far Gone was on a relatively small budget of, I'd say, around about maybe 200. Drop Point was actually lower, I think, as well.
The money on the poster, that was the budget.
That's real money. Can I just say, that is real money.
Yeah.
It didn't belong to me at the time either.
Yeah. But that's, like, I'd say maybe around about like 150, something like that. That's the money maker. That's the one that's all the money's gone into, which I hope has worked, because it was a lot of money. Estimated around about 750. Yeah, between all 3 producers, myself, Sharon, and also Lawrence as well. That's gone on to location hire, music, etc., catering, makeup costs, etc. It's all packed up. But that's our big one right there. So yeah.
I'm going to go back to actors. Some of the question from before. What was the process of, 1, working with the directors, and 2, the process of you bringing your characters to life within these films?
Be honest.
What can I say? Sat beside me.
Yeah, go on.
No, working with Sam is brilliant. He's a great director because he understands how actors work as well. So he sees it from an actor's point of view, whereas a lot of directors don't. They don't know how actors work, so they just see their vision and everything, whereas Sam doesn't. So it's great working with Sam. Always enjoy it. As far as getting into the character, I don't know where she comes from, but she's somewhere in there. She's a bit dark and sinister, isn't she? Sorry guys, I thought you all thought I was a nice person, but I'm not really. Complete bitch, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. The other half's over there asking. But yeah, it's all about getting to know your script, getting to know your character, building on that character. The script is... Learning the script for me is almost the final process. It's getting deep down, knowing her background. I had a complete backstory for her as to why she was the way she was.
Do you want to tell us what that is?
She killed her parents because they were abusive.
Fact,
yeah, and got away with that one as well. So yeah, had a nice backstory to her. So yeah, for me, it's knowing the character.
So what's your process of bringing that behind story into the character? So do you storyboard, or do you start improvising? What's your method in getting that?
For me, it maybe writing a diary, going back like a day in the life of, something like that, doing some improvisation. I don't do method acting because for me, I find it quite dangerous to do full-on method. I get very close, so it is pulling on life experiences and that sort of thing. Luckily, I've never been in an abusive relationship, so I can't pull on that one. But it was just thinking about that thought process of how she would think, how she would react. Doing some research, You know, it's all down to research when it comes to new characters. I had the idea with that one is that she did come out of my head, where I'm not sure, deep in dark past. So yeah, it is just about getting those characters and bringing that to life. You've got words on the paper, and it's our job as actors to bring those characters to life and to give them body and using things like backstories and that sort of stuff to give them depth.
Absolutely. Is it the same for gentlemen actors as well?
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
So, do you have the same
Hang on, man, a
process
few
in
words,
Kyrie
guys.
as well, or?
Yeah, I've got to agree with Sharon that Sam is a brilliant director to work with. And I've got away with a lot of line changes that I probably wouldn't have got away with anybody else. I think at one point I was sending you a script change every other day just before we filmed.
More or less, yeah. But I value everyone's opinion. So.
Yeah, not all of which got through. But because I have a background as a writer, that's basically how I build my character. By not necessarily writing it down, but building the story in my head. And that's what works for me. I think in each of us there's a little bit of every character that we play, and it's a matter of reaching inside yourself and finding the part of yourself that is most aligned with that character, which is more or less what you said, Sharon.
David, do you want to elaborate?
Go on then. Nope. Oh. So yeah, I tend to work objectively based on like my partner and whatnot. So for me, I like to build up an objective based on what the character's doing in the moment and what they want from the other person. And for me, you can kind of drop any preconceptions for that and then go straight into playing out the scene and seeing how it goes. And that first take gives Sam, who's a brilliant director, that entire film was shot in one day amazingly, with all the snow about as well, so that caused many issues. Not for the indoor shoot bit. But but yeah, for me, I just like to let go and just live in the scene, see what happens, and play about with it, which I find fun. And you can get to the end of a scene and I won't have a Scooby-Doo what I've just done. So maybe a monitor in the future just in case. But yeah, I just like to play about with it, play about with the other actor and have fun, see where it goes. The other thing, because it was quite a dark, twisted story as well, every time I called cut, jumped into a slot Korg accent. So, alright guys? Yeah. Korg? Yeah, from that famous franchise that I can't mention, in case. So yeah, jumped into that, made everyone laugh, completely ruined any build-up anyone had to try and bring into the next scene.
Go on. Some people probably don't know what you're on about. Thor Ragnarok, in case anyone's confused. Yeah, if you're not watched it, fair enough. But breaks out to it every single 5 minutes. So imagine that on a set. Every single time that you're done with a take, you would just go completely bananas. It would be like having 2 different people on set. It was incredibly strange.
Interesting point you did mention there is that you shot too far gone in just one day. What about the rest of the films? How long did they take to shoot?
I'll flip the microphone. Right, so Drop Point incredibly was shot in one day too. We went from location to location to location to location, all in one day, and it was incredible. Everyone was incredible on that set. Obviously, you might have seen the geese. The geese we will not name. We will definitely not remember about that. It goes back to what I mentioned earlier, that every single set has problems, but with an amazing crew and amazing talent behind it, you can literally just fly through it. Rouge Reflections, obviously, because it's about 18 minutes long, and there are various different locations, a court, a house, another house. We had to, a cafe as well. We had to go from place to place, but not on the same day. That took around about 4 days to shoot. But yeah, we had enough time on each one of the sets to just dive into exactly what the story was about and how each one of the characters would interact. And these 3 in particular, absolutely incredible work, as you've clearly just seen from all of them. So they deserve a massive round of applause for that. But fact, every single person on this panel right now, and everyone who was on the previous panel before, definitely deserves all the credit that they do get. Every single one that was involved is a massive, massive talent. So yeah, it was a long process with Bruce Reflections. We had to. How long did we shoot it over? Was it cover the cost about 4 months? I say.
Longer than that.
It was
Longer.
way
longer.
Was it half a year or?
Yeah, it was
about 6 months.
It was 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
Kept delays, location problems, etc. Again, everything goes wrong whether you like it or not. So it's your job to adapt and shape it around. But I think we did a good job. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So you know, if everyone else is happy with it, we'll call it a day.
Alison, did you want to add something onto that?
Yeah, no, it was exactly what I said. It took months and months and months. But it's mainly when you've got the complexity, because we all do other things. You know, this is not our main job. It's not like when you're filming a feature film where you're just there for 11, 12 hours every single day, 6 days a week, whatever. This is a completely different process. We're squeezing it in around all sorts of things, aren't we? So in some ways it makes us more dedicated and more passionate, I think, and that's worth acknowledging.
Any more questions back to the audience?
I would say, circling back around to the original question, before I get sidetracked. Yeah, it was quite a tricky one for me, this one, because when I originally auditioned for the role of David, I played the abuser. Mm-hmm. So I formed a character in my head about what I was going to be, and then the script had a rewrite, which was brilliant rewrite. It worked great. So I had to obviously create an entirely new character for that, which was quite a challenge, but I think it came across.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Question? Yep.
To the actors, is which you sort of prefer in Deliverance, really, whether you're on set or in the ADR booth, which you find easier, or you find there's more snap when you're on location or behind the microphone?
With Drop Point, when we had to do the ADR on that, what I found was coming back to it and re-watching the lines, there was certain sort of, I could have done that a little bit differently, sort of thing. So being able to go back and redo the line in the ADR booth, I felt was quite beneficial to the character and the overall project, because it gave me a chance to get back into that and maybe tweak some things. I don't know if anyone else has some thoughts.
Yeah, I didn't have to loop anything on the reflections I was looking.
No, we were good.
Yeah, we were good.
Yeah, I did ADR for Drop Point too, and I found the same. That as you were going through the lines, you were looking at intersections and things and thinking, why didn't I do that right the first time?
Yeah. I guess that comes as well down to the fact they had one day to shoot it, whereas there was a much longer time and process on the reflection. So
Yeah, there was a lot of time pressure with Drop Point, definitely, because we did have to move location. We moved location we were in 4 locations.
Faulty sound equipment as well.
Yeah.
Faulty sound equipment as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Faulty sound equipment, geese. Yeah.
Recipe for disaster.
Teenagers on bikes that wouldn't be going in between the camera and the actors. Yeah, but it worked.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it did work.
Any more questions? No? Is there anything that you guys would like to say about filming or about your futures, what's coming up next? We'd love to know more about yourself as well.
Sam, I'll let you start.
We've got a big bit after.
Well, we do actually have a big bit afterwards, so I'll give it right back to you.
Alright, straight back. Alright. I was trying to pass the books to give me
I
some
can't
content.
say anything else aside.
For me, I just want to say a massive thank you to Sam and all the crew and the cast who worked on Bruce Reflections. It came out of my head, as I say, as an improvisation, never thinking that it would actually end up on the big screen up there. It was only when my acting coach said to me, "You've got to make that into a short film." It took me months to write it down because I'd completely forgotten about it. So it's just something again came back as a burst of inspiration. Yes, I will write that down. From me, it's just a massive, massive thank you to everybody that gave up their time, gave up their money, in Sam's and Lawrence's case, and mine, provided stuff, Alison.
Yeah,
just loads of stuff. Just dressing houses
First aid
and
kits.
Yeah, and one thing and another. Tom, who Tom?
Tom
is not here.
Tom is not here.
Yeah, he's not here, unfortunately. He created a camera person's yoga guide.
Yeah, that's...
We had him in some strange positions that day in the house, didn't we?
He was on
It's coming next year, by the way. It's a book. So.
Yeah, because as you might have noticed, I'm not very tall, and Lawrence is rather tall. So for a cameraman to get two people of that diversity into a shot did take some doing. So bless him, he did get into some strange positions. What's next for me? LA is beckoning. I've not announced this on social media yet, but I have been offered a role in a feature film in LA. So I am working towards my O1 visa. That's on the cards for next year. So that's my big thing for me. So if anybody's doing feature films, I need to get a few feature films in. Anybody's filming? Sam, I'm looking your way. Anybody else? I do have another an actual feature film that I want to get in. My dad wrote his autobiography. So if anybody's got a spare budget of a few £1 million that they've got lying around, let me know, because that's mine. No, I'm not looking to. No. Sam hates me when I got a budget. But no, that's it as far as I'm concerned for this year for me. Pass on.
My year's more or less finished. I was working in alternative roles for most of the Christmas period, so I probably don't have to tell you what that role was. And I finished on Christmas Day. I've got a rest now, so I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to everybody who worked on Bruce Reflections. You were all brilliant. And yeah, as for the future, I'm looking forward to starting back with Northern Stars again in the new year. I've had a few challenges this year which have taken me away from acting, but I should be back at it in the new year.
Yeah, first off, I'd like to say shout out to Sam, because obviously I would not be here if it weren't for him. I would be at home on my Xbox, so thank you very much. But I'm finishing uni this year, so I'm going to throw myself full force into this now, once that's done with, and just see where that takes me.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to thank you, Sharon, for coming up with this idea together and allowing me to be a part of it to help see it finished. And I'd like to thank you, Sam, for being a visionary, who brought it to the big screen and just bring it to life. Cheers, mate. And what's next? And also, as well as everybody involved, for being a great team to work with. And what's next for me is I'm filming a concept trailer for a feature film that I'm gonna make sometime this year or next year to pitch for funding. And yeah, that's it. That's what I've got. That's what's up for me next.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Sharon. Sharon and I have actually been friends in another arena for over a decade. And she dragged me over to this team. I used to work in Manchester, so it's her fault that I work over in Leeds now, and that I met Sam.
Yeah, it's always better this side of the pen.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Yorkshire girl anyway. Yeah. So I was really pleased to be asked to work on Bruce Reflections, and I think I came in as a runner and ended up as a art director. But never mind. Yeah, it's just been an absolute pleasure. It's been really, really great working with you all. Absolutely terrific. What's next? Well, I've just done another film for Sam, haven't I?
We have.
Yeah, called A Mother's Love, so we'll wait till that one comes out.
Fingers crossed.
Set looks good. My bit was fun. And that's set in 1978, so that was quite a challenge, as you can imagine. And we'll just see what comes up next, really. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
I do things as well.
Yeah, how many things have you done this year?
Yeah.
like 28, 35 productions this year since January. Don't stop. Just want to sleep. But yeah, I'm at university. Based at Media City. If you don't know, ITV, BBC's there. I don't just do films as well. I do like promotional work and stuff. I've done like promos for Wigan Warriors. I've got a promo in January for The Alchemist. I've just been promoted, by the way, guys, to assistant producer on a film with like the stunt team from Mission Impossible, Fantastic Beasts, Star Wars, Saving Private Ryan. So I'm working with the team from that, which is sick. I've just got more films and I keep getting asked to do things. So I don't really plan.
Must be a good sign.
I try. I don't plan what I do. I just get asked to do it and I rock up. So that's my thing.
It's a big cheesy grin, that's what does it.
That's right. But yeah, I just want to say on behalf of myself again, on behalf of Amethyst, thank you for all the casting crew that joined in and all the films that we've seen tonight. And not just on here, but for the rest of the year. Hopefully we'll get you all involved soon as well, all the casting crew that do see in here, whether you've been in the films currently or not. If you do want to see us again afterwards, we are having a bit of a drink afterwards, but for now I want to give you a massive round of applause to the panel we've just had. Thank you very much. We do have one more thing I want to discuss with you, so if you guys want to go take a seat for us again, thank you very much. So for this one, I'm going to pass you back on to Sam Flanagan and David Rogers.
Right. Well. Spoiler alert. So, just in terms of the future, obviously, we've literally just started out. We started in September of last year, and already we have 6 films under our calibre, 4 incredible directors of the company as well. And we're really trying to, do something that's, just trying to make our way into it, quite frankly. It's a really, really hard industry to get involved with. It's a really hard business to find your footing in. Not everyone's going to give you a chance, but every 50 no's, there is always one yes, though. But in terms of what's coming up with the future, we do have a lot of different stuff. Feature films is one. Myself and David are currently writing our very own first feature film. Title, should we say?
Go on, it's had 5 titles so far, so if I can remember it. Recall. Well, I won't dive too far into it because we don't want to give away the story entirely, but kind of building on the plots of struggles with power and whatnot that we've got with Too Far Gone, using that as a concept just for visual and some of the themes to it, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're looking to make that probably towards the end of this year, beginning of next year. So fingers crossed we get the funding for it. Yeah. But we've got
plans to get real money to make this film.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. However, we've got a decent project to offer. It's got a good script that's going through it, so I reckon once we get some names attached, we'll have that up and running.
And just in terms of every single film that you've seen here tonight as well, every single film will be going into festivals. We're going to try and win awards. We're also going to try and get laurels and garner all that. Every single film as well that you will see will be going on Amazon Prime as well. We have our very own Amazon Prime account. Every single one of the films that you've seen are going on there after they've completed their festival run. On top of all that as well, we are still... I don't particularly know in terms of short films. We're kind of really on the fence about it. We want to try and go bigger, go better with what we've got. But we do have a couple of other things. We might very well do a couple more short films if there are some people who are interested in doing it eventually, as well as like a few, maybe potential TV series that we've got coming up. A series is a word, maybe. But yeah, that's basically what we've got coming up. Got anything else to add, gents?
I think other than like a handful of Manchester Uni students, I think you're the first audience to see Look at the Moon. First proper audience, so hope you enjoyed it.
But in terms of anything else for our future, there is one big thing that we do want to announce. So we've taken a little bit of an idea that a lot of us, some of us have had in their head for brewing for over God knows how many years. And we have decided to make our very own film festival, which is officially on Film Freeway, and it's called As You Write Film Festival, International Film Festival.
where you can basically submit short films, features, and screenplays. Submissions, obviously, we're trying to keep them quite cheap, quite affordable, and there is an option to get feedback on your projects as well. We obviously understand how important feedback is for creators, filmmakers, actors, directors of photography, camera operators, sound ops, everyone loves feedback. They love knowing that they've done good jobs here, but they can improve there. I myself am very pessimistic when it comes to things, so people giving me very constructive criticism is a really big highlight. On top of all that as well, we've obviously got the website for the film festival as well, and the event where we show all these films will actually be right here in this very room. So it's basically, I mean, do we want to talk about the structure of it as well?
Can do.
Yeah. So the structure of it is basically 3 individual seasons. One, which is in, well, I won't give away dates yet, but season 1, season 2, season 3. Each one of these films, these seasons, you can submit your work to. If you win in any of the categories that we have, you get a certificate to commend you for your hard work, but you also get a chance to then be awarded for our end of year event, which will take place in December, and you'll receive a very nice trophy, which I'll find somewhere. But that's basically the incentives. Obviously, we want to try and give everyone, every single filmmaker who submits their work, some form of award or some form of recognition for their hard work. These films take time, they take passion, dedication, above all, a lot of hours where you're awake, constantly stressing about whether or not that you've got copies of the script for tomorrow. Sometimes you don't. But in terms of when this is actually going to be released, should we want to say?
Yes, go for it.
Tomorrow. So you can officially start submitting your work to us tomorrow. There is a lovely little QR code which I think is going to come on soon.
As you see, timing is an arsehole. There you go.
Well, in the meantime.
Yep.
Obviously, as well as this, we are showcasing here, and one of the things that we want to bring to the films that are shown at our festival is to bring in other producers, casting directors, people that can see your work, whether you're an actor, whether you're cast, whether you're crew, and be able to recognise and bring forward to light those people that do shine. Certainly up north at the minute, we've got massive moves from the BBC, from Channel 4, from, I mean, ITV's been rooted here for a while. We've also got the likes of Netflix starting up a studio in the UK, so there's a lot of opportunities, especially coming up north. They've been pushed by things like Game of Thrones, but we've got a lot of northern-based, gritty dramas that are coming through here, and this is literally the hub for future filming in the UK. So we really do want to bring as much as we can forward. And that was just enough to be able to go, there's a QR code. If you get your phone now and take your camera, it will literally take you to the website, and that will show you everything that we've got detailed about the festival, about how it works, and also a link to the thing on Film Freeway as well. So I think if we get out of the way, part ways, I'll pass that back to you, Sam.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, yeah, QR code. But I just want to just take a minute just to say thank you to these 3 incredible gentlemen who are beside me. When I initially wanted to start Amethyst, I really just thought to myself, who could I get who are the most passionate, dependent people that I can possibly think of, and that's these 3 esteemed gentlemen beside me. They are
stuck with us.
Well, that's how the girlfriend. But basically, these guys literally are the best kind of people I could possibly ask for to work with, and I just think that everyone here should give these 3 guys a massive round of applause for everything they've done here tonight.
And on back of that, a massive thank you again for Sam, who's pretty much put a lot of tonight, along with David, on sport tonight. So a massive round of applause for these 2.
so that being said, I don't think there's anything else to add. I hope you enjoyed every one of these films, and hopefully, if you would love to scan this QR code, it took literally about 30 seconds to do, but it would mean a lot if you did get out your cameras, hold it over the QR code, and it takes you right to the website. If you're interested in looking to see exactly what the film festival is about, go right ahead. I don't have anything else to add. What about you guys?
On that note, thank you for coming tonight. We look forward to seeing you and talking to you very shortly in the bar or outside. And once that closes, we're off to Edinburgh, so if you want to follow us, feel free. On that note, thank you very much for coming, guys. We'll see you shortly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
How long was that one? I was going to stop that like now and say this.